luckily for us all, after 10 years in the UK, I have just about cracked the code. I can kind of understand people now, and that is why I've put together this video of 23 British words Americans and other foreigners just don't seem to get. By the end of this instructional manual, you will be able to understand most, if not all, of the following sentences. This is Professor Sharp, who is going to be reading 2 of our example sentences. Ow. Professor Sharp, please approach me. Thank you. Okay, example number
Hello.
1. Hello.
I don't want to be cheeky, but do you mind if I nick a fiver? I can't show up to that bird's leaving do empty-handed. She'd be gutted.
Fantastic. And example number 2, please.
Let's splash out and get another round. I'm on a pool tonight and need to get bloody pissed.
Our first word is the word bird. This word may conjure up images of magnificent winged creatures flying through the sky, and yes, it does mean that in the UK, but it also has another meaning. Similar to the American word chick, it can be used to mean young woman or girl, and it is used like so. Oh, check out that bird over there. Or, oi, that's my bird you were chatting up. Our next word is bloody. No, not that. It essentially means very. Until the mid-20th century, it was considered a strong profanity, but now you'll find it in all kinds of films, including Harry Potter.
Bloody hell!
While Americans like to think that Brits use it all the time, I will be honest, none of my friends use it that often, but it's just because they're bloody stupid. Our next word is the word cheeky. The word cheeky made some big waves on the internet when it hit different forums, especially as part of the phrase cheeky Nandos. Americans and loads of other foreigners were just completely baffled by the term. In fact, I might need some backup on this one.
Like a cheeky Nando's.
Yeah, what is that?
I already am uncomfortable having said that. I would never say that. It means like quick, I guess, or casual, or just
A quick casual Nandos.
maybe, yeah. Cheeky in general means like mischievous or playful.
Is that how you say that word?
That's how I say that word. I don't know if it's how you should say that word.
Have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
What do you say?
Mischievous?
Mischievous, yeah. But
Next word is chips, and this one is very simple but slightly confusing. Essentially, Brits called French fries chips, and they call chips crisps. So you get a bag of salted crisps, but a plate of fish and chips. That's it. Next up, we've got do. Now, the verb is used in exactly the same way that anyone would use it, but Brits also use the word do as a noun, and it just means an event. You can go to a work do, a birthday do, or a hen do, or a stag do, and those tend to be pretty rowdy. And most of them happen in Prague, and the city suffers for it. But that's a topic for another time. Moving on to our next word, which is dim. Now sure, yes, a British person might describe a light bulb as dim, meaning it doesn't shine very bright. But they might also say the same of a person whose intellect doesn't shine that brightly either. So if someone describes you as dim, don't thank them. It's not a compliment. Next up, we've got the word dishy. I don't know why I actually really don't like this word, but I do like what it means, which is sexy or attractive person. And for an example, it's just randomly anyone. I hope you're ready for this next one, because I've come up with 3 different definitions for it, and that might not even be all of them. And the word is fancy. Now, the first definition is fancy as a verb, and it means to like someone, to be sexually attracted to them. Like, yes, like Milo Ventimiglia or whoever, yeah. The next definition is to fancy doing something, meaning to want to do it. For example, do you fancy going on a date with me? Milo Ventimiglia, or again, whoever. And number 3 is fancy dress. Now, when I say fancy dress, you might think of something like this, a fancy dress. But that would be completely stupid and incorrect, because fancy dress obviously just means this. Fancy dress means to go in a costume, and it has led to some awkward moments for me when I first moved here, but I'm better now. Next up, we've got fit, the adjective. Now, it can mean somebody who is athletically accomplished, like The Rock, but it can also mean someone who's sexually attractive, like, and I know what you think I'm gonna say, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna say, yes, The Rock is actually both. Go The Rock. Our next word, objectively speaking, sounds a little bit scary, and that word is gutted. Now, it doesn't mean to be disemboweled, although you would probably be quite gutted if that did happen to you, because to be gutted mainly just means to be disappointed with an outcome of a situation. In this case, disembowelment. Not that pleasant, I presume. Before we move on, let's have an example of what being gutted may look like. It might look like an English football fan sitting at the Euro 2016 watching England get crushed by Iceland. Yes, I did just Google that. Thank you for asking. Our next word is long, and it actually took me quite a long time, ironically, to grasp the meaning of this word. Now, on the one hand, yes, it can mean long, like a sausage dog or whatever, but it can also mean an action that takes a lot of effort, but the effort isn't ultimately worth it, like ironing your socks. The next word is lush, and like fancy, it has 3 different definitions in this video. Very exciting. The first one is the one you may already know, which is just drunk, tipsy. Number 2 though is lush as in attractive, like back. And this is primarily used in Wales, but people all over the UK will recognize this term. And number 3, Lush is also a very, very popular cosmetics company. They do everything from bath bombs, which they're primarily known for, to makeup. Our next word is minted. Now, this isn't a word I like to use. I don't know why, I just don't think it sounds nice. But here's the definition anyway, if you wanna go be your own person and use this word. And that definition is rich. You know how money can be newly minted? Well, a minted person has a lot of that. And an example of a minted person is this man to my right. His name is James Dyson, and believe it or not, this man is actually the richest person in the UK. Next, we've got the word nick, and yes, it is a popular male name, but it can also mean to steal something. And it can also mean the place that you go after you've stolen something if you get caught, which is jail. An example sentence here would be, oh, Nick, don't nick those crisps because you will be put away in the nick. Now, this next one you might want to remember because using it wrong can lead to some pretty awkward conversations. And the word is pants. Now, in the US, of course, pants just means trousers, jeans, or anything you wear on your bottom half. In the UK, you do wear your pants on your bottom half as well, but they're just knickers. They're your underwear. Oh, and there's a second definition of this word, and that is when something is bad and something is rubbish. You might say, oh, Sabina, this video is pants. But I hope you don't say that. I hope instead you click the thumbs up icon and stroke my ego a little bit. Thank you. The next word or phrase is one I really like, and it is pear-shaped. Now, it doesn't in this case refer to that stupid obsolete system whereby women's bodies were compared to pieces of fruit. I mean, hello, no thank you, stop policing us and shut up. But in this case, it refers to things going wrong. So you can say something's gone pear-shaped when the situation just turns out to just not go very well. The phrase is reportedly old slang from the Royal Air Force, where it was used to describe expeditions and flights gone awry. Our next word is the word pissed. Now, in the US, this typically means to be really angry and riled up, but in the UK, it means to be drunk. And similarly, the term after that is plastered, and it also is another word for being really drunk, and doesn't mean this. I mean, I suppose you could do some plastering while plastered, but I wouldn't recommend it. We're in the final 5 now, and our next word is pull. Now, pull can obviously be the thing you do with a door, especially the kind of door that says push, because, I mean, what are you like? But pull can also mean to try and find a sexual partner. So, for example, if you go to a club and you say, I'm on the pull, it means you're looking to meet someone. And if you do meet someone and you end up hooking up with them, or snogging them, as a Brit might say, you can say, oh, I pulled last night. So there you go. Our next term is round, and this is less of a word and more of a British life philosophy. Basically, when you go to the pub with your mates, what you usually end up doing is buying a round of beers for everybody. So that means you buy everybody's beers, but then it's somebody else's turn and they buy beers for everybody, and so on until you're completely pissed or plastered. The next word is shag, and I will give you 2 hints here. Number 1, it is not a type of rug, and number 2, it is something Milo Ventimiglia and I will never, ever, ever do. It's something you do after you've pulled someone. It's, you know what it is. Our next word or phrase is to splash out. It doesn't have anything to do with water. It just means you take a bunch of money and you spend it on something really expensive. For example, there must be an example here. I must have splashed out on something. Okay, I found something. I really splashed out on these perfumes because they're incredible. Look at that. I'm just casually showing off and passing it off as being educational. This is great. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our final word of the day. The word is waffle. And no, it doesn't mean that really nice sweet snack that I'm pointing at hopefully over here. It means to talk a load of nonsense. It means basically, it's the kind of thing a politician will do when they're trying to skirt around a subject, like Boris Johnson. Literally every time he talks about COVID, he just waffles. He doesn't really say anything, but he fills the time. Kind of like what I have been doing in this entire video. Would you like me to do more videos about living in the UK? If so, drop me a comment. Otherwise, subscribe and see you next Friday.
This is meant to be like a natural conversation, but
Yeah,
clearly
because you keep looking at yourself. You're supposed to look in the lens.
it's very hard not to. It's very off-putting.
What is your face?
Yeah. The fact that it's staring right back at you. I meant to look at the lens. Okay. I don't know what cheeky Nando's means, really.
I think we got that.